Welcome to our show, Amsa. We're very thank you for giving us the time to come to ACV, African Canadian Voice, to share your experience and your mix of art, skills and knowledge. Uh, we're very glad to have you in here, and thank you very much for taking out the time to be with us. Just let me start with your background. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you happen to be interested into this field?
Okay. Thank you very much, first of all, for the invite as well. It's really exciting to be a part of this also. And I've always been interested in the arts. My siblings and I, we have always been artistically inclined, and that kind of grew. Yes, of course, even though we come from a society that would, or well, yes, it's changing now, but we come from a society at which professional jobs are much better than something that you would say that, okay, you are in the arts field.
Yeah.
So I ended up studying mass communications. I am a journalist by training. I did work in all media. That's newspaper, radio, and TV as well. I was a journalist for most of my time working in the media, but then I have always had the arts behind me. I was always doing something or working on something or playing around with something. My sister and I were always working on things, and coming to Canada when I first came here for school, after searching for a job and everything, it was kind of hard. It wasn't going so great, but I had the arts with me, and I was making jewelry, working on such things, and that really helped in keeping me mentally stable. Let me say, it really did help in doing that. So then after that, I did go back home. I worked with an NGO for women for some time, but then moved back here after I got married, and also did some work as well, but I've always wanted to be in the arts field, and finally said, okay, let me really give this a shot, and became a full-time artist, basically. Yeah.
I could see the connection from journalism into what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Media. And was there a specific period of time where you said, this is the thing that I need to focus totally and work on it, or was it like a gradual and slow process you were just coming into this area?
Oh, it's I would say it has always been. I've always known that I would definitely fall into. Well, I wouldn't say fall. I would definitely walk into being an artist. It was just when and where that always changed. It kept evolving and kept changing and all of those things, but moving to Canada actually did help me in pushing forward towards this, because at this point in time, I wouldn't say there wasn't judgment, but I'm in a country where every field is appreciated, basically. They may not all have the same level of appreciation, but they are all still appreciated.
Yeah.
So, and it gave me the opportunity. I had the resources, the equipment that I needed were easily available. I could do almost anything I wanted to do, or any idea that I had, I could make it come true without having to either spend too much or waste too much time searching for the right things or the right products that I needed. So it was just, everything just came together at kind of the right time.
Yeah. So when you came in here, in other words, it gave you the time to reflect and go back to your Nigerian roots and understand the culture and try to to bring in that in a different way or in a more appreciated way? Was that the case or?
In a way, yes. Because I don't know about any other person, but personally for me, there's the nostalgia of always going back. You know, my whole family is there, my friends are there, everyone that I have ever known or grown up with, they are all at home. Yes, there's the exodus of many moving this way, but it's slower than I want it to be. So there's still so many people back at home, and this was one way for me to kind of hold on to the memories, hold on to the way of life, hold on to the society somehow, or the parts that I liked of the society I grew up in. So that was the arts for me, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, always the nostalgia always is there, except that how you bring it in here and make it part of your everyday thinking. And I think you found the outlet now to do those things in terms of what you're doing in the mixed media, right?
Yeah. Yes.
In the sense of looking back and seeing things, and at the same time also being in here, how do you balance things, or was your perception changing, or the emphasis changing? How was it?
Oh no, definitely my perception has changed somewhat, because I am not in the situation anymore, or yes, I'm not in that particular situation anymore. And I believe that as someone who is an artist, or someone who tells stories, whoever you are, whatever field you're in, you have to be able to take yourself out of a situation to really fully understand what is going on, to see the big picture, to see how every little thing plays, where everything sits, and then you are now able to understand what is going on in the fullness of it. And being here has actually helped me to see a whole more of that, especially for Nigeria, for example. And I say Nigeria because that is where I am from, and that is the society I grew up in. I don't know what it would be like for any other person from any other country. It would definitely be unique to everyone's story, but that is it for me. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, of course, your background, your personality is crystallized over there.
Yeah.
It has always ways of expressing it, except that it had to be in a different setting and maybe a different audience. So in that sense, when you do your work in here, how do you see the audience reception as compared to what you were doing in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, when I started working and all of that, it's I hadn't reached the level I am at right now. I was still learning, still exploring, still trying out different ways of making different things. I was more into jewelry back at home then, and even though they were handmade things, they were very unique things. There was still the interest in it wasn't as positive as I had hoped it would be, because I guess, we tend to follow trends a lot, and so if it's not a trendy thing, even though maybe the trend lasts for like 5 months, if it's not a trendy thing, it's hard for you to actually get some traction there. But I do know that there's the word of mouth, and you have to be very specific about your target audience. And with your target audience, it's a slow and gradual process. And I wasn't at home long enough to be able to build that kind of name for myself to say, per se. So I wouldn't want to say that, oh, the society I left back at home, they were not so nice to me. I can't really say that right now. And also, I had not reached the level I am at home, that I am right now when I was back at home. So I can't really say, oh, okay, this was how it was, or that was how it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and in a sense, being in here also gave you the chance to be fully committed in a different level.
Yes.
And navigate the art scene, if I understood it correctly.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
So how was in terms of interacting with other artists in here or the art organizations in here when you started doing this?
When I did start, it was actually a slow process because even though there are a lot of artists here, especially in London, there's a huge art community here. It's just that everyone seems to work on their own, and so we hardly ever did connect per se. But I was fortunate enough to find a really good art center where I started working, I started teaching, and all of that, and it has helped me to connect with other people as well. For the love of art on Notre Dame Street here in London. And there's a really good art community. It's diverse. I enjoy the space. I enjoy the people that I meet there. I've learned a lot from each and every one of them that I've met there. And I've grown actually because of also the kind of relationship I have been able to build with many of the artists there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of reaching out to a wider audience, what kind of channels or media do you use?
I usually use social media, most especially Instagram. Instagram is my go-to place because I'm able to share my images. I'm able to share videos. I'm able to express myself better on Instagram than I do on Facebook. I do have my Facebook page, but I'm hardly ever on it because Instagram just does more for me than Facebook does. Yes.
In terms of the impact you want it in the larger society, how would you summarize that?
Impact. I can't really speak about impact just yet because I believe impact takes years to build. Yeah. I would say maybe I have a little bit of an effect right now. Just a little, it's not as big as I want it to be, but it's a growing thing, and slow and steady wins the race. So I'll just take it the way it is right now. But with the effect, I would say that the impact I've had so far in London is being able to actually teach some of London's children, and that for me has been an eye-opening experience. It has actually pushed me towards my limits, and I keep growing with it. I keep experiencing different types of personalities, and it has shown me that I can actually work with any personality I meet as long as I am willing to work with them. And that for me personally has been a huge growth for me. Also being able to teach them as well. It's something that I'm really, really happy with. It was a chance for me to grow in different ways, and I'm really glad that I took it, and it has pushed me out there. And once in a while, I do get to see some of my students, and they would actually remember what I taught. They may not remember my face, but they would remember what I taught them. And I'm like, okay, I did something, and yeah, that's it.
There we go. This is the impact, because you're dealing with the upcoming future artists and young boys and girls, and you see your work.
Yes. I really hope that. I think for me that would be something I would be proud to call my legacy, because it's not the matter of just, let them just paint and spend some time. They actually leave my classroom with something that they've enjoyed working on. Their confidence in themselves has actually grown. They know that there is someone out there that thinks that they can do amazing things, and I really hope that pushes them forward. It's not only mommy and daddy that is pushing them forward, but there's also someone else that, even though it's probably once they met me, they know that, okay, that particular person thought I did a really good job at this, and if she thought I could do this, it then means that yes, I can. And with the results that they carry home, they would always remember that they did this and they did a fantastic job, and they know they can do so much more than that.
Yeah, the important thing is that when the young boys and girls are aware of what you told them or you showed them, and then they take it in, you already have planted the seed. It's about growing, and then because they can say, yes, I can do this, I can develop this. That's the important thing. In that sense, the impact is great, although you kind of downplayed it a little bit. But I can understand that it's a far-reaching, and maybe later on the curve would be sharp going up. So
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. In that sense, because you start in here, but later on you see, the big harvest, right? And, in terms of the adult audience, what would you say?
In terms of the adult audience, it has been a little slow, but like I said, slow and steady wins the race. I already came into this knowing that I'm not expecting a full-blown success immediately. That is me setting myself up for all types of disappointments. And I already told myself that no matter what it is, I will keep on striving. I'll keep on working on this. I may have to make a few changes here and there to keep myself going, to support myself as well. But this is a marathon. It's not 100 like 100 meters dash or something. It's a marathon, and I just have to keep going. But like I said, slow and steady. I have actually had an increase of some of my sales for my art prints and all of that, specifically from London itself. And I'm really happy that it's Londoners that are actually buying my work, and so far I've gotten good reviews, and people have reached out to me. I've met with even different artists as well from Instagram and all, and it's been growing steadily, and I'm happy with the way it's moving right now. Yes.
Oh, it's great that it's continuous with the stamina, slow growing but sure. Upward moving, and that's the important thing, because as you grow, there are so many things that need to be balanced. balance with the other obligations of your life. You know, I mean, this is a little bit, seems to me, time demanding, right?
Oh, yes, yes, it is. I wouldn't say time consuming because it's something that I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I want to keep doing for the rest of my life, making art, teaching, and sharing what I have, sharing the knowledge I have with other people. I'm really happy that I have a lot of people that support me, some really good friends that are always by my side. They help me out with all sorts of different things. My husband as well. We saw how 2020 turned out to be. But even with that, at the same time, I have had really good growth with my work. I have been able to achieve some things that I have always wanted to achieve as well at the same time. And I'm just going to keep pushing forward with it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of challenges, 2020, it affected everything we do, school, work, education, and travel, you name it. And I think it's the right moment to share some of the videos you have on Instagram or Facebook.